Greetings to you. Thanks for joining us this lovely Friday. We're here to make it worth your while. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, on the show tonight, we will take a look at the African Cup of Nations, Africa's biggest football tournament, the most eagerly anticipated football event on the continent. It's about to begin. We'll continue with our countdown, what we've been doing for a while. We'll talk about that. A special group will be in focus. We'll talk about that group, which has two former winners on that group. We'll also talk about the day of reckoning, the best boxers around in Saudi Arabia, showing their stuff, displaying their might. We'll talk about that. English Premier League will get us talking first and second. We'll go into it, and the managers will be sharing their thoughts with us on the show. That's the outlook of the show tonight. It's a two-man show. My colleague Austin Okona-Akpan is suited and ready, and of course, we're taking this trip together. Austin, it's good to see you again. Another good day to talk sports.
It's about the greatest to you. I mean, it's good to be on the show once again. Well, shout out to everyone joining us on the program. Day of Reckoning, Anthony Joshua. So much has been said, about that fight with Ottawa. And people said, be careful, Joshua. If you don't win this one, then your career might just be, heading for where you don't want it to go. There are also talks that whatever happens in that fight between Joshua and Wallen, they will go on to seal that fight with Deontay Wilder. Don't forget, Deontay Wilder will also be busy. He's got a course to settle with Joseph Parker. So, Day of Reckoning will definitely get us talking. Heavyweight boxing on display. But Anthony Joshua, surprise, surprise, a lot of people seem to be giving that fight to Otto Wallen. And I'm saying, what's going on? Why are they, just looking away from Anthony Joshua? I think he's got a lot of skill sets. I think he's got a lot in his tools. I think he's still determined to be a three-time world champion. We'll get to see what happens after that fight is done, Yemi.
All right, we're going to see what happens with that fight. Well, join us in the Lagos studio. I have the pleasure of having Shola Regis with me in the studio. Sometimes I don't know how to introduce a man that's wearing a hat that has many feathers, but Shola Regis joins us now. Shola, greetings to you. Thanks for finding out time to be with us on the show tonight.
It's always a pleasure to be here, and I want to thank you guys for inviting me because it's a big deal for me, actually.
All right, what do we start with? Day of Reckoning. I want to get your thoughts. Off camera, we said a lot of things. We might not be able to say all that we said off camera. But Day of Reckoning, I said that apart from Tyson Fury, maybe the four guys, maybe they're the best. I don't know if you agree.
We've not had it this good in boxing in a long time, since the 80s. This is unprecedented. We know that in the days of Don King, he used to have this packed card on a boxing night. You had some massive boxers and all, but not with the heavyweights. I don't think this has ever happened with the heavyweights. Now we're talking about 4 top heavyweight contenders on the same card in one night, same venue. Wow. It doesn't get better than that, and especially when there's a history between most of them. Apart from Wallen, who is also a champion in his own right, continental and all of that. You're talking about Parker, Wilder, who have this thing, and of course, Wilder and AJ, the fight that everybody has been waiting to see when they both had the belts, and even without the belts now, everybody wants to see it. So, and again, there's a Nigerian angle to both of them. Deontay Wilder did his... No, he's not claiming. He did his DNA check, and he's more Nigerian than he's American. So it's the battle of Nigeria boys. He wants to come home. He wants to come here. AJ has always been here off and on. So there's that angle to it. Regardless of what happens, it's going to be one of the biggest nights in the history of boxing.
All right. And for a lot of boxing fans who've been staffed of this kind of bouts, we've always questioned the heavyweights not wanting to go at each other, but this presents an opportunity. Let me just go across the screen, tell up the tape, and of course, when I'm done with that, I'll yield to Austin. There you go. Tell of the tape. Joseph Parker and Deontay Wilder, the Bronx Bomber. Of course, 43 wins in his fights. Parker with 33 has lost 2, and we know we lost those 2 bouts to. and of course Joseph Parker as well as 3 knockouts. Of course, you need no one to tell you that Deontay Wilder is a knockout artist, and of course 41 knockouts for Joseph Parker, 23, 4 draws, just 1. Joseph Parker on his books does not have any draws. All right, Austin, let me just yield the floor to you. I know you're going to take us through what Deontay Wilder has to say, but your thoughts ahead of this one. A lot of people feel Deontay Wilder is up in this one. It might just be a one-way traffic.
Might just be another way traffic also. I mean, it's heavyweight boxing where all you need is just one touch. All you need is just one slip. You just need to blink, and you're going to start asking questions. Go ask Anthony Joshua what happened to him when he fought Andy Ruiz. That's why this guy has come out to tell people that, look, I'm not just about that one big punch. I've got a lot of skill set. I've got a lot of things I'm going to prove when I get on to fight Joseph Parker. I think Joseph Parker is decent, but I'm not going to pick him ahead of, Deontay Wilder. This guy comes with the vibes, His confidence alone, just tells you that he wants to do something to this heavyweight category. He still hurts with the way he lost his belt to Tyson Fury, but hey, it is what it is. He's preferred to go on to beat Joseph Parker and then set up that heavyweight, fight that I've been waiting to see for quite some time. Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, is it going to happen? Good boxer said, look, with that Saturday night, we're not going to have a fight in the future. So can we just stay focused, do the fight on Saturday, and then we can start talking about, the future if Anthony Joshua would definitely, get to fight Deontay Wilder. Let's listen to some talking points ahead of that fight.
The day before about how in the heavyweights anyone.
This is what we like to see. Everyone loves to see heavyweights and they love to see knockouts, and they got the right man on the card for this job. I'm definitely coming to do what I do best. It's something that's God-given. It's something that I don't have to pressure myself do or others apply pressure on to me. It's something that comes naturally, and I'm coming to do it again. We'll see what happens on Saturday night. I can't wait to look. I'm looking forward to sharing the ring with him, and may the best man win. I can't speak for him. We're on the outside looking in, and we'll see. He has a big task to complete, as well as I have one as well. So when it's all over with, we can talk about it. But at this moment in time, it's getting close to the fight, and I think we're both focused on the same task, and that's the win. I'll leave it as that.
I'm here, and I'm ready. I've had a great camp. We're going into this fight, good game plan, great strategy, and listen, respect to all, but I'm here to do a job, and I'm here to win.
That's all it is, show some respect. But Deontay Wilder came out lighter. Anthony Joshua came out heavier for his fight against Otto Wallin. Shala Rogers, sometimes when I look at heavyweight boxers, these guys, they are huge. But their fitness level is commendable. I look at Deontay Wilder, and it looks like it's prim and proper to go out there and give us some good boxing.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Austin. There's been a mutation, some kind of evolution of heavyweight boxers. We used to have them heavy set, they didn't move too much. But these guys, you're talking 6'4", 6'7", and all of that, and they can move. They have footwork, and they can move. And they are heavyweight boxers. That's massive for me. So I agree totally with you. It's going to be, hopefully, if all boxers decide to fight, it's going to be some kind of pound-for-pound heavyweight fight that you usually get with the middleweights and the lighter weights. But with the heavyweights, we have heavy hitters who can actually move.
Let me throw this in. Austin said something. I want to throw this in. We're moving on to Joshua next, but do you feel that Deontay Wilder has the skill set? Because that's always a question. Can he do other things apart from landing that heavy punch? He comes in a bit lighter. His coach has said he has other tools on the box. A lot of people have questioned if he actually has those tools on the box. What do you think?
I think he does. There's something that we've never given him credit for. Do you know how many fights this guy has had? Do you understand? And people were saying, oh, he was picking weak people to fight and not. Regardless, AJ fought a guy that we didn't know and lost. It could have happened to Wilder, and he never did. And only time he lost was to the best fighter in the world, the best heavyweight, Tyson Fury. The same draw he had, the only draw he ever had was with one of the best. So we must give him his credit. We never do. We must give him his flowers. And I think Wilder is actually a fantastic boxer, and he's going to prove it this weekend. I'm not saying that he's going to win, because these four, they're all champions in their rights. They're actually all champions. But yes, we must recognize how good he is.
All right, all right. I mean, you were listening to Austin. I was listening to him. He almost sounded like it was Deontay Wilder and Joshua that's fighting, because that's what everybody is talking about. Everybody just wants this to go by. Both boxers win their bouts, and so that we can talk about. Even while Deontay was talking about his fight, they had to sneak in questions about Anthony Joshua. All right, so that's our next port of call. Let's go to, let's see the tail of the tape. Anthony Joshua and Otto Wallin. A lot of us remember Otto Wallin and what happened, how he almost defeated Tyson Fury. So Anthony Joshua, look at the age, 34 and 32, not much difference. Fights, Anthony Joshua's had 29, Otto Wallin 28, wins for Anthony Joshua 26, for Wallin, same number of wins. Losses, Anthony Joshua has lost 3 times, and we all know 2 to Usyk, and of course 1 to the one we love to forget. And some of the other fights, no contest. You have 0 for Anthony Joshua. Otto Wallin had 1. Knockouts 23 for Joshua, 14 for Wallin. The height, 6'6", Joshua, 6'5" for Wallin, and of course the weights. That's what you have on your screen right about there. And the stance for Anthony Joshua is orthodox. Of course, Wallin southpaw. And the nickname, Anthony Joshua is AJ. And of course, Otto Wallin, Hall in. All right, interesting. So that's it. Let's quickly, before we leave this all together, let's listen to Anthony Joshua, his own thoughts. And of course, Shola will say a few things about what he thinks will happen. And of course, I'm very sure Austin has a few words as well. Let's listen to Anthony Joshua speaking ahead of his big fight.
And then there are question marks.
Yeah, I'm looking to do a good job. What more can I say? I will do a good job. Pure focus on Saturday. That's where my heart, my soul, every cell in my body is fully focused towards Otto Wallin and doing what I know I can do.
You know, people are talking about upsets, but I'm going to win the fight, and you shouldn't call it an upset. It's not really an upset. It's just natural. This is my time, so I'm ready for it. I'm really happy to be here.
Give the corner every chance to work on the cut in those kinds of situations. And in the USA, I think they do give you more.
All right. Shola, let me come to you. We're going to football next, but let me come to you. You said this while we were having our off-camera conversation. If we're doing hypotheticals now, is victory a must for Joshua? If he doesn't win, what is left?
If he doesn't win, it's just going to be groping at straws. If he doesn't win, it will make it 4 losses in his illustrious career. If he doesn't win, he does not get the big bag anymore. You know, if he doesn't win, he has to be on the side where he's begging to be on the big cards as an underdog, a former champion. Nah. So this, he must win.
He's condemned to
He
win.
is condemned to win. You know, another thing that I don't like is when an orthodox boxer goes against a southpaw. It's always very dangerous, because the southpaw is leading with a different foot and a different hand. And you must either adapt to that
Or get caught.
or
Wow. All right. I don't know if Austin agrees. I mean, it's going to take the last comments and we go to football. I don't know if you agree. Does anything remains for Joshua if he doesn't beat his opponent, Wallin?
I think it will be all over. I mean, he's 34. He's got 2 attempts to, get back his belts. I couldn't do that against Usyk. He's been fighting, some decent fights, and he is where he is now. With the big fights, in the heavyweight division, if you want to make the big money and get the media talking about you, you must fight Tyson Fury. You must fight Usyk. You must fight Deontay Wilder, And as it is now, if he doesn't get to beat Otto Wallen. By the way, that's a very tricky fight for Anthony Joshua. If he doesn't, then how can he get into that conversation to fight those guys I've talked about? And look at this guy. He's fit. He's a heavy hitter also. He has just one loss, and he has fought the same number of fights with Anthony Joshua, 26. So when I was listening to some of the boxing experts in this country talk about why Joshua should be worried, I became worried also because you read Otto Wallen. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about upsets? Have you looked at me? Have you tried to go through my training program to say I prepared for this one? It's a big fight, and I really think Anthony Joshua needs to do what he's got to do. He got into the arena with some swagger, greeted his family, greeted the media, greeted his friends, and he has said what he said, that, look, he just want to focus on this fight against Otto Wallen. Otto Wallen came into the picture in that fight that he had with Tyson Fury. He was so close. Remember how he tore Tyson Fury face all over? Tyson Fury was so lucky to have come out of that fight with a win. So it's going to be a very difficult one. Big test for Anthony Joshua. Win this fight. They seal the fight with Deontay Wilder, and then we'll wait to see whatever happens with Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Then we can start saying, okay, Joshua Wilder, whatever happened, would have happened, and they would say, go fight either Fury or fight Usyk. But he must be Joshua. Just wish him all the best because he carries the Niger spirit. He loves Nigeria, very humble. He's loved by by a lot of boxing fans all over the world. It's disastrous. Doesn't come out with a win tomorrow in Saudi Arabia.
All right, we're hoping that he does. All right, before we go on a break, let's give you something like a teaser to what you're going to see in the next segment. Africa's biggest football tournament. It's called the AFCON these days. African Cup of Nations is what we're talking about. Let's just tell you, officially, it is 22 days to go. 22 days to go to the Africa Cup of Nations, and we've started the countdown. 22 days to go. All right, so before you know it, everything started. Shall I, a few seconds before we go on a break? 10 seconds. Are you feeling the buzz?
No.
Are you feeling it?
No.
Straight, with a straight face?
No.
No. All right. Shola Rogers not feeling the buzz right now. All right, we need to go on a break right about now. When we return, we'll continue our conversation where we left it off, talking about the Africa Cup of Nations. All right, welcome back. Of course, the group in focus tonight is Group F, and some interesting themes in Group F. You have, actually at the start I said 2 former winners, but 3 actually. So you have Morocco, Tanzania, Congo, DR, and Zambia. So let me run through the fixtures. Shola Rogers will give us his thoughts, and of course, Austin will give us his thoughts as well, and I'm going to say what I feel as well. January 17th, the Atlas Lions will take on Tanzania. That's Morocco take on Tanzania. Congo DR will take on Zambia. January 21, Morocco will take on Congo DR. Zambia, the Chipolopolo, will take on Tanzania. That's match day 2. Match day 3, as you already know, matches will be played simultaneously. All right. Like I said earlier, these are the teams in the group: Congo DR, Morocco, Tanzania, and Zambia. All right. And of course, match day 3, of course, the games will be played simultaneously. Of course, on match day 3, Tanzania will take on Congo DR, Zambia will take on Morocco. Shall I, before I yield the floor to Austin, 3 former winners, but 3 former winners who could talk about glory in the past. Morocco, in the last year or 2, of course, you have to respect what they've done. But if we want to talk about the AFCON, the Nations Cup, you would have to say maybe what they've done in the past. Zambia is not what they used to be in 2012. Congo DR not what they used to be in the 70s. Morocco not what they were in 1976 when they won. And let's not even talk about Tanzania. So, so if you were going to pick 2, which 2 will it be?
Morocco for me, definitely coming out of this group. I put my money and everything on it. Morocco will come out of this
Without
group.
missing a bit.
Now, I'm not even going to think twice about it.
Okay.
Number 2 is going to be between Zambia and Congo DR. You get if you even go by FIFA rankings alone, you know, that's the order. You know, it's Morocco and the rest of them. And they're ranked 33 or thereabout. The closest to them is ranked in the 80s, 84 or thereabouts. Wow. So there's a whole lot. That's statistics. But if you look at recent games that they've played and achievements and everything, and you look at the personnel, it's definitely Morocco. You get, because there's Amrabat, there's Hakimi, and all of that. For me, Morocco will top this group. Now, second position is where I'm going to chill a bit. Like, okay, for me, it's between Congo DR and Zambia. I'm sorry, Tanzania. I don't see how you're going to make it out of this group.
How they're going to cut it?
I don't know.
All right. I'll go in the same fashion as Shola Rangers. Morocco, head and shoulders above the rest competitors. Then, for sentimental reasons, maybe I'll say Zambia, but it has to be a battle between Congo DR and Zambia. But sentiments don't play football. Stars don't play football. No. But we'll see what happens. But I mean, without any debates, it has to be, in my book, Morocco coming out on top. We've seen stranger things happen in football. We never can tell. But if stats and all the other things to go by, say Morocco. So, Austin, I don't know if you agree with that. I know you're a guy that loves to see upsets and oddity.
And I'm still that guy. Let me give you an interesting fact. Aside Morocco, Congo DR, Tanzania, and Zambia didn't qualify for the last AFCON. Interesting, right? Interesting start. So it means they're coming to Côte d'Ivoire on a clean slate. And that's why it will be difficult, because if you check what I've been doing with all my analysis as we count down to the start of the AFCON, I'm judging teams based on what they did at the last AFCON. And Shola Rogers, if you go back to, look at what Gambia, who were debutants in Cameroon, did, if you take a look at what Equatorial Guinea did, if you take a look at what Comoros were in the same group with Morocco and Ghana finished at the bottom of the table. Those are the interesting stories African football seems to be telling us. That's why it's so difficult to disrespect any team from Africa now. So on the back that those three teams, aside Morocco, didn't qualify for the last AFCON, I'm leaving it open. Yes, Morocco and everything that they've done in the last 2 years for their football is commendable, and they've kept the bulk of the team. They still have the same manager, so they will only get better. And they were pretty decent at the last edition. Remember, they lost out in the quarterfinals to Egypt, and it was a very tight game until Egypt found a breakthrough and they won that one 2-1. So yes, Morocco, Congo DR, come with strong African football experience. Zambia, same thing. What I said about Namibia last night, I said about Tanzania too. With the fact that the AFCON win is blowing to that region, that's some sort of motivation. They will look at themselves and say, we need to announce ourselves for the 2026 edition so that countries can start respecting us. And if you take a look at that group properly, it's almost balanced. There's North Africa, there's East Africa, and there is West Africa in there. So it's tough. It's tough. On paper, I'm going to give it to Morocco and Zambia. But being the upset guy that I am, come on, Tanzania, give me something to talk about.
Can I talk to Austin? Austin, you're sitting on the fence and you're also on one side, yeah? So we said it. Me and Yemi already picked. We said it's going to be Morocco. You agree? And we're saying it's Zambia or Congo. You agree? So what's the story about Tanzania that you're going on about? For me,
on paper. If we go, oh, this is what they've done at the AFCON. This is who they are with African football. But I'm saying I want to talk about them based on their last AFCON experience. And neither Congo DR, Zambia, or Tanzania featured at the last edition. So there's nothing to talk about. So I'm also saying, based on the upsets that we saw at the last edition, I talked about Gambia, I talked about Comoros, I also talked about Equatorial Guinea, even Sierra Leone. It just made us, to realize that it's difficult to just, push teams aside. So that's why I'm saying it would be nice for Tanzania to give me something to talk about.
All right, we'll see. We don't have to wait for too long. Let's move on the show. This week, the judgment from the ruling from the European Court on the European Super League has got a lot of people talking, comments here and there, clarifications from UEFA. The guys who are held bent on going ahead with the Super League are also, making their own position known. And so the fans who will be in the center of everything have also been talking. So let's see if you can get to listen to okay, we'll do that later, but maybe I should just get Shola's thoughts in a minute because we're pressed for time. Jurgen Klopp says he doesn't want Liverpool to be part of any European Super League, but he likes the fact that UEFA and FIFA they got a shake, somehow. And a lot of people listening to Alexander Seferin said, "Look, this guy looks like somebody who was just walking off from a bad dream."
Look, it's about the fans, it's about the clubs, and it's also about the organizers. FIFA, UEFA, CAF, all of them. But who actually gave them those powers that they abrogated to themselves? Without the clubs, there's no FIFA. Without the countries playing, there's no FIFA or UEFA or CAF or whatever. So the owners, the real owners are saying, this is how we want to roll. And you're telling them they can't. I don't think so. So I like the idea of the Super League because, again, they're talking about allowing fans to watch more football, even for free at some point. Do you get that? So more marketing, more money, more exposure. I am all for the Super League. And FIFA and UEFA need to take
the Super League, what it was before, or what they're proposing after, because what they were proposing before was football without merit.
Regardless, yeah, I mean, what it is now is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
We don't need to go to the past. What it is now, going forward, the Super League is not a bad idea. Honestly, it's not.
All right. So clubs are saying put more money on the table. We need more money. Who made you the boss? You have to answer that. All right. Let's move on the show. We're going to Austin's End now. We're talking about the English Premier League, and of course, even as the show is going on, of course, right about now, the game should have ended. So we'll spare a thought for the FIFA Club World Cup when we're about to wrap things up. But let's address the elephant in the room. English Premier League. Top two teams will slug it out this weekend. All right, let me just go across. On Saturday, West Ham will take on Manchester United. Fulham will take on Burnley. Luton Town will take on Newcastle United. Nottingham Forest with the new manager will take on Bournemouth. Tottenham Hotspur will take on Everton. Then this one, of course, will get anyone talking. Liverpool and Arsenal. Can't remember the last time Arsenal won at Anfield. So, and of course they will want that to change. And so, fixtures for Saturday, let's see if we can get the ones for Sunday. Of course, this is it. Wolverhampton Wanderers up against Chelsea. It's just Jekyll and Hyde from Chelsea, topsy-turvy. You never really can tell what Chelsea will give to you. Sure, I want you to say something before we yield the floor to Austin. We'll take us through some of the reactions. You definitely have to address the elephant in the room.
Liverpool versus Arsenal, right? This is the biggest game anywhere in the world this weekend. And these two have been at it for so long. Over 212 games played. Liverpool edge it slightly. They've won more games than Arsenal when they go head-to-head. And they played a couple of draws, over 50, about 52 or 55 draws or something. But if you put all of that, you might go with numbers. But these two teams are playing good football at the moment. The Arsenal, they're playing the game of their lives. The league is in sight again. Liverpool, the same thing, yeah? The Manchester teams are lagging behind. I don't see them catching up anyway. It's a bold prediction on my part. But Liverpool and Arsenal are about to play like the Premier League finals this weekend. Because whoever wins this one will get the impetus, we get the numbers, we get everything to go all out.
All right. Also, Shala said something that just make me going to ask you this as you take it from here. Is this game a decider? I think it's too early to say that, but I agree with Shola that it will build momentum.
it will definitely build momentum. It means that whoever wins that match will top the table during the Christmas period, and that's a big deal, ahead of Boxing Day fixture. So yeah, it has been leading the conversation right here in England, and truly, fans are saying, look, it's either Liverpool steps up and prove a point against Arsenal, and Arsenal fans are saying, look, Mikel Arteta shows that if you lose to Aston Villa, you cannot lose to Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp has called out the fans at Anfield. He said he didn't like the way they behaved in that Carabao Cup 4-1 win against West Ham. So he said against Arsenal, he wants the fans to be loud. He said he wants them to stand up and intimidate the Gunners. He said if you are not ready to do that, give your tickets to someone else. But let's not forget that there's a big game also going on right now. I call it a big game because it means so much to Aston Villa. They take on Sheffield United. It's a contest between the team with the worst away record and the team with the best home record. At the moment, it's goalless. But let's listen to Jurgen Klopp. That's the fixture, Liverpool versus Arsenal. That is, ruling the airwaves at the moment.
We play a super strong team. We play a team that played an exception last season and coming back and is even better than last season. Bringing in top players, had already a top team, bringing in really good players to improve the team. Did that, went through the Champions League pretty easily and play a really good Premier League campaign. So, massive game. It's great. Great to have them. Great to meet them. We met obviously quite frequently, and yeah, it's good. But we have to make sure we make it a proper home game, a proper Anfield experience. That's all I want. Tell our people exactly. It's not. I don't order atmospheres or whatever. It's just we had 2 home games in a row, and these 2 home games we had 62 finishes. I think that's pretty special. I would say that's what football is all about. And imagine we would have scored of all of them. That's ridiculous, or will never happen. So you will have these moments where you create a chance and you miss it. And in our very best times, and I understand, but I'm pretty sure not everybody is now thinking, oh my God, Klopp is right. And it's not about that. It's my feeling directly after a game. It was exactly like that. And when I turned around, because people were talking about that, when I turned around, we missed a chance. And I turned around and people were sitting like flat. And I thought, what actually do we want? Creating a chance is the closest you can get to score a goal. And now the difference is in the very good times, and when we are when we're all in our middle and we all enjoy the situation, what we should do, because we are in a pretty good position in the league. So, and maybe a bit quicker than people expect. That's possible. I don't know. And then the difference for me is if you have a chance and you miss it, it's, oh. But after that, the stadium goes bonkers because immediately we go for the next chance. And that was different. It was.
So let's say it's Jurgen Klopp, giving so much respect to us now. Shola Rogers, each time I listen to Jurgen Klopp, his passion, his vibes, what he brings into managerial role at Liverpool, his presence is really commendable. But this sort of fixture, you could tell that he knows that Arsenal will be coming into Anfield with a different vibe.
Most definitely. Klopp has evolved. He's always picking the right words, saying the right things whenever he gets to face the press. You hardly ever catch him on fresh. He's always on point. And I like the way that he has, given Arteta his flowers already. We respect what you guys are doing, but at the end of the day, all of that is just for the media. Behind the scene, he's saying something different. He's already telling his boys, you have to win this. There's no excuses, because last season was not so great for them, and they went out, got a few players, kicked a few players out, and it's looking good now. And these are the kind of games that you want to win. Historically, statistically, Liverpool has always had won over Arsenal. If you look at, just go check the stats. So they don't want that to change. And it also comes with something. Historically, again, if you go top around this time, you're most likely going to win the league. Most likely. So, yeah, Jurgen Klopp with the right words, as usual.
Okay. His opposite number, that's Mikel Arteta, has been speaking as well. Of course, he wants to see a change, not losing at Anfield, and also being able to go to Anfield and get a result. Let's listen to the Arsenal manager, Mikel Arteta, speaking ahead of the top of the table clash.
It's going to be a special atmosphere. Obviously, the two teams are in a great moment, in a really good position, really strong position. Both teams, I'm sure, have prepared the game to win it and to go for it, and it's going to be an intense match. It's always great to be in the highest position in the league, especially in this league, and we'll try to maintain that. And to do that tomorrow, we're going to have to play really well, compete extraordinarily well, and be very intelligent to manage the moments of the game as well.
All right, Shola, one from me. I'll yield back to Austin, but a lot of people have credited Mikel Arteta this season, or the Arsenal team this season, for a little bit of shift. They seem to know how to stop their opponents from, and they've not been conceding goals. These two things are what caused problems last season, and this season, they've played games where they don't necessarily go out to mesmerize the opponents. Just do the needful and win. Conserve energy if you have to. And when they have to defend 30 minutes, 20 minutes, something that even the Arsenal fans have not seen before, I mean, they seem to do it well this season.
They have to. And all the credit goes to the coach. Look at Tottenham. Let me quickly talk about Tottenham. When the season started, Tottenham was up there, but this instant they started losing players. Look at where they are now. They're struggling, but they're still a very good side, regardless. But Arsenal have depth. They might not have the exact depth that their fans want them to have, but they have the depth, and there's competition. And when there's competition for places, it brings out the best in players. Two goalkeepers fighting to be number one. All of that just works together for the team. And that's what a lot of teams have not done in recent times. That's what has worked for Man City, worked for Arsenal in the past, worked for Man United, Chelsea, but Arsenal have that now, and that's what's happening for them. So for me, regardless of what anybody says, take a look at the personnel of Arsenal, and you see that, but my fear, because I'm talking real, is when we get into the new year, and it starts to happen, the eyes of February, or what's it called again, or March. But I hope that doesn't happen to Arsenal this time around, because they are in good stead to actually win the league.
All right, let's go and talk about Manchester United. I don't want to get Shola really started on Manchester United. We don't really even have time to get started on Manchester United. But Eric Ten Hag still believes that everything is well. He's been giving updates on his players, still feels he's the right man to do the job, and he feels that the Red Devils will turn the corner. So we'll see about that. Let's listen to the Manchester United manager. We'll come back to wrap things up on the show.
Of course, we are open, and also he is open, and I think his mentality is great, and I think he's a very good performer under stress, and he deals with that. But it's not only about Rasmus Holland, it's also about Marcus Rashford, it's also about Garnacho, it's also about Anthony, it's also about Bruno Fernandes, and it's also about Scott McTominay. So there are many, and don't forget our fullbacks, who has to be a big part in that. So they are not available before Christmas, so that will be mid-January. We expect them back. There are always issues, but we know also we have to improve. And so in our game, I think we played very good at Bayern Munich and against Liverpool, but we should have created more chances. And then, of course, we should have been more clinical in such moments. We can definitely improve. So it's not about one player, but it's about a totally group of us. So as you know, my philosophy, we have to attack with 11. So it's not only about one player, but it's about everyone, and we have to get the movements better, the decisions, so the ball decision making on the ball has to be better, and sometimes also we have to be more clinical. I think the best chance on Sunday in Liverpool was ours.
All right, Eric Ten Hag. Shola, I know it's not easy to do You have just about 45 seconds. Just talk about Eric Ten Hag and all that is surrounding Manchester United and your own thoughts.
I believe that Ten Hag is the man for the job. Forget what anybody's telling you. If only Man United are stuck with Jose Mourinho, they won't be where they are. But they chose a player over the coach. They chose Pogba. Where's Pogba today? He's gone. So I feel that United need to bet down and stick with Eric Ten Hag. He's the guy. He has what it takes to be, the next best thing after Alex Ferguson. Nobody's going to give them excuses for losing players or getting the wrong kind of players. They had no business buying Højlund. I'm sorry. You don't buy a striker that is not scoring goals and make excuses for him. It's probably even better to go and get someone from the academy who would also draw blanks like he is. You didn't buy a striker that is going to be playing as a midfielder. And that's where they're getting it wrong. They're not getting the goals. And without goals, you can't win games.
All right, without goals, you can't win games. All right, let me pass the ball to Austin, who's probably going to give us the update from the FIFA Club World Cup and his parting shot as well.
Yeah, I see this game as a very tricky one again for Manchester United. Despite their struggles, West Ham, they've been doing just enough to stay relevant. Right after they lost 5-0 to Fulham, they became, good at home. At the London Stadium, they are actually getting better. And Kudus, Ghana Black Stars player, is in fine form. Right after that loss to Fulham, they defeated Freiburg 2-0. And their last home game in the English Premier League against Wolverhampton Wanderers, they won by 3-0. Kudus again scored in that one. For Manchester United, they just need to find a way to, contain this West Ham side. And looks like they need to do everything they can to get their season back on track. David Moyes has also been under some sort of criticism. He needs to also prove a point, And if you take a look at the table, they are just so close to each other. Manchester United are 7th on the log with 28 points. West Ham, they are 9th on the log with 27 points. West Ham wins that one. Manchester United will drop and West Ham will overtake them. So this is a game of relevance. Let's quickly talk about what happened today at the FIFA Club World Cup. Manchester City defeated Fluminense 4-0. Julian Alvarez with a brace. It means that Pep Guardiola's team has become the first English club side to win five trophies in a calendar year. I want to leave the show with that level of success and wish it all on you watching this show. In London, I'm Austin O'Connor, and in everything you do, remember to keep talking sports. Bye for now.
Well, it's a wrap from us here, but of course, I have to thank Shola Regis for his time on the show today.
We had fun.
We did. We'll take it out. Of course, the conversation never ends. We'll take it out of the studio. All right, that's the show today. We do hope that you've enjoyed everything we've been able to do. Enjoy your weekend. You see us again next week. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.